There is much talks recently about the existence of strange phenomena, like star seeds, spiritual people who are in contact with other dimensions, also people who had been taken by aliens. Where do you classify yourself? Do the source of your information from one of the ways that we mentioned, or from somewhere else? Yes, the star seeds are existed on planet Earth. They have big mission on Earth to increase human awareness. And we already talk about them in the Word of Truth. And there are mediums who have the ability to contact with dimensions nearby them through spiritual powers they have. They can absorb the frequencies around them, and they can deal with things around them in a different way than the human being, as a normal human being. And they usually feel the frequency that followed the physical dimension. And yes, there are lots of people who had been taken by the aliens. For your information, there is a kind called grey aliens who are responsible for taking people from Earth. And it has been stated in many Hollywood movies. And yes, this is real. We will talk about this matter and the purpose behind it. And there are many people who talk about their personal experience in this regard. In fact, most has been taken for testing from grey aliens, and others taken in order to raise their consciousness to be able to transmit messages from them to us. And they are not grey aliens, but other kind of aliens who are following up our consciousness and development. And the grey aliens used to do tests in order to study the DNA of the human being. As we mentioned before, that there are Galactic Federation of Light, and this union includes 200,000 nations together. Some of them are humankind, and lots of them are different kinds. Around 30% of humankind and 70% of other kinds. This universe contains many of extraterrestrials, and lots of them joined the Galactic Federation of Light, and the others did not join yet. So regarding your question of how do I classify myself, I'm not any of them. But I can say that I witnessed most of these things. I moved through my spiritual astral body into a spaceship when I was 16 years old, but not through my physical body, and not even taken by them, which is known for spiritual people that they can travel into the universe through their spiritual astral body. Yes, we communicated with many of extraterrestrials who live in this universe, and we learned a lot of things. And this communication were through our awareness journey. When the human started improving his level of consciousness and strengthening his inner bodies, at this time only, he has the potential to be open to other worlds and communicating with other dimensions, according to his level of consciousness. And whenever the human becomes clear from the inside and turns into peaceful, beloved, tolerance, and had knowledge of the inner and spiritual facts, in this time only, the memory will start awakening, and he will become an awakened person. He started remembering much of the science and where he was. Also, why did he choose to be on Earth? In fact, for me, it wasn't only just improving my spiritual dimensions, but also to accomplish the mission assigned on this Earth. I had a connection with higher dimension, up to 12 dimension. Those dimensions have a very high awareness and infinite wisdom. And those dimensions are leading the hierarchy of the spiritual masters and leaders. So in the hierarchy, the higher dimension lead the lower dimension. The divine existence divided into many universes, which include many of the creatures. The higher denominators in these universes guide the lower ones. So, when we rise in the dimensions, the awareness becomes higher. In the result, we see that the more aware governing the least aware. So the fifth dimension are governing the third dimension on Earth. Due to the nature of the dimensions that I came from and what it holds of tasks for planet Earth, I would like to clarify lots of facts and events which will be experienced by the planet Earth. during the coming period of time, and to link these facts with what is happening of events at this time, in order for people to be informed and prepared for the upcoming events, especially before and after 2012, which being called the end of time. For me, as for the fact of being connected with other dimensions, and not everything that you can receive from there can also be passed, because it features with high level of consciousness, and during the transfer it will lose its beautiful and deep meaning. And it is not in the field of perception, the awareness of the least dimension, especially the third dimension, where only a few have this awareness. And what will be transferred is the level of consciousness of the fifth dimension to the level of consciousness of the third dimension, and we don't want to engage in deeper, so as to raise awareness of the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And this is one of the most important tasks for the Galactic Federation of Light.